How about P. Diddy? You got a panel of 12 New Yorkers returning a mixed verdict in that federal trial against Sean Combs, convicting him of 2 interstate prostitution counts, but acquitting him on the more serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Each carried a maximum prison sentence of life behind bars. The verdict was a blow to the Southern District of New York. They spent 7 weeks. Big-time narrative, bunch of graphic evidence, called more than 30 witnesses to the stand. The defense team never called one, not one. Let's bring on Jeremy Rosenthal, prosecutor before becoming a defense attorney. He has tried over 200 jury cases. Jeremy, was justice served?
I tell you what, P. Diddy sure thinks that this is a loss, and he'll think it's a loss in a year and 2 years and 5 years when he's still behind bars. I think this is a mixed verdict. A good result is something everybody hates, right? And I think everybody hates this or they love it. Cassie Ventura declared victory. P. Diddy obviously declared victory. And the jury did what juries do. They hit him in the middle somewhere.
Jeremy, you know what you just sounded like? An attorney.
A lawyer? Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. Well,
I do that.
No,
Okay.
that's okay because, as you're saying this, it reminded me of when I went through a divorce and, the attorney said, look, nobody comes out of this happy. You're going to feel like you got something and you're going to feel like you lost something. Nobody comes out feeling 100%.
Right. Yeah, that's what court is, and that's what litigation is. It's just a question of how much you're going to lose, and that goes in the criminal justice system, in family court. If you're suing somebody over a contract, that nobody wants to be in court. That's just, except me, and even some days I'd rather be on the golf course. So yeah, that's how it goes. And look, the more questions you give a jury, the more likely they are, in my mind, to split the baby, to go one way or the other. And we see cases of juries that run away and all that stuff. That's really rare. It's really rare for a jury just to go all one way and not the other. So a mixed verdict, a split decision here just doesn't surprise me.
Jeremy, I always hear when the feds come and they raid you like they did Diddy, they don't do this unless you are dead in the water. So did this jury miss here? Is this another example of why I always say we need professional jurors? Because we put, a lot of cases in these big cases, you got people with, not the greatest IQs, not the greatest common sense. Is this another example of a jury blowing it?
It's hard to know. I'll put it to you like this. They were in the room and I wasn't. It's real hard to criticize from that standpoint. A jury system is a really, really imperfect, terrifying thing, and that's important. It's important to remember that. A jury trial is like a pressure valve, and what it does 99 times out of 100 is it causes people to settle due to its unpredictable nature. That's the important part of the jury system, and that's the part that I think that we overlook sometimes. Will juries get it wrong? Of course they will. Will juries get it right? On occasion, sure. But who decides what's right and wrong? Another thing that I tell my clients is, look, if we win our case, the other side's still going to hate you. The other side is still going to think that you got away with something. They're not going to go and say, well, shucks, I guess we were wrong. That doesn't happen. Litigants leave, like you were saying, they leave upset more often than not. And here, Cassie Ventura, her lawyers, they were declaring victory. Like I said at the outset, in a year, 2 years, and 3 years, when Sean Combs is when he's in angry summer camp, he's not going to be happy about this. Everybody lost. I don't think 8 years in the federal joint's a slap on the wrist. No, I think it could have been worse. But and I think it could have been much worse. But no, I don't think it's a slap on the wrist.
You don't think he'll get time served and maybe just get a couple of months?
In theory, he could. I doubt it. If yesterday was any indication, that judge didn't say no to releasing him on bail. He said, F no, I'm not putting you on bail. He said, did you sit through the same trial that I did, pal? Because I saw you beat this woman. I've heard you bribe people. You've already been convicted now as a felon. and no, you're not getting out while I decide whether you go to jail. So that was a very good indication of where this judge is going to come down. He can stack these two sentences on top of each other. I don't know that he will. We have what's called the federal sentencing guidelines. That's what's going to dictate just how much prison time he gets. And that's a complicated matrix, and then that's a long story. But yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd put this somewhere between 7 and 12 years total.
Okay, wow, that is a lot of time. Can the judge still reject the verdict?
I don't believe so. Once a jury verdict is actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because New York State has a mechanism to do that, but this is not a state case. This is a federal case.
Gotcha.
And once a jury returns a verdict of guilty, the judge is legally bound to accept that verdict. And on appeal, it could be reversed. But the other part of this was that he certainly could not reject it.
Okay.
So that P. Diddy could be found guilty later. If he rejected it, it would be an acquittal. But I don't know that that's feasible.
All right. Jeremy, thanks as always.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. That's legal analyst Jeremy Rosenthal.